Hello, everyone, and welcome to September's installment of Alternative and Complementary Medicine. We are here today with Chantel Gaines. I first met Chantel a few months ago at a poetry event. It was my first time ever doing a spoken word piece, and she was so comforting and so kind. I wanted to know more about this woman. And then I looked up on Facebook one day and I saw her on the Ray Thomas Variety Show. So I knew then that I needed to reach out to this lady and find out more about her. Chantel, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Tell us more about yourself.
Okay. Well, I like to say that I'm a mompreneur. I'm a veteran. I'm an energy science practitioner. And within that, there's a whole lot of things. I'm an arts advocate as well as a model. But above all of that, I'm a creative. I believe in art and how it affects us and how it helps us heal.
Okay, that's awesome. I didn't know you were a veteran. What branch were you in?
The Army.
Okay, well, thank you for serving the country. And you mentioned energy science. I heard you mention it on the Ray Thomas show that day, and I was like, what is energy science?
Okay.
I've researched many alternative and complementary, but I'd never heard of that one.
Right.
Can you tell me more about that?
Well, the reason why you haven't heard of it is because I've kind of coined it myself.
Ah.
I couldn't find the lane that I belonged in.
Wow.
So I decided to create my own lane. And so energy science is any module that can be applied to help you maintain or navigate the world of energy. Because we're energy beings. We have vibration or frequency.
Yes.
Just like we have the medical doctors that tend to our physical bodies. We have the psychologists that attend to our intellectual bodies. But then who attends to our energetic bodies?
Wow.
So the energy science practitioner, because it is a science. It's an ancient science.
Wow, I'm so fascinated. It's like I could stand up and cheer right now because when I give my pain management events, I always talked about that the fact that we are three parts. We're part physical, we're part emotional or psychological, and we're part spiritual. It's like, but the doctor is only addressing the physical aspect of it. And it's like, until we find someone who is willing to address the whole being, we're never going to have true healing.
Right.
And so there you are.
And I say there's four parts. We have our spiritual, our physical, our intellectual, which includes our emotional, and our logical, but then we also have our energetic body, our auras, our meridians, our chakras, all of those things. There's so many different aspects that are so intertwined into all of that. And our spiritual health affects our energetic health. Our intellectual body affects our energetic health. Our physical body affects our energetic health, because it's in our energy that we interact with everything and everyone around us. Because of our vibrations, we're in a vibrational existence. Everything is a vibration.
Okay.
And how we emit what we're thinking, feeling, is where the energy, that's the world of energy.
Okay.
And understanding that is really hard for some people, especially in this society that is very religiously based. And they have deemed a lot of things that are nothing but energy work as taboo things that really have blocked a lot of people from growing.
Okay.
Because they don't tap into, they don't receive the information. Because a lot of the times when it comes to energy work, energy science, it's about knowing that it exists and knowing that it's possible to help.
Okay.
That really actually make it worth it in the first place.
Wow.
Because if you don't believe that it's going to work, then guess what?
It's not going to work.
It's not. But if you understand what's really going on and you can really perceive what's really happening, you're then able to put yourself in a place intellectually that silences the logical mind and allows the energetic body to heal itself.
Okay.
Because we get into these conversations about healing and healers, and in this country it's illegal to say that I'm a healer, that I can heal you.
Really? I didn't know that.
It is illegal to claim yourself as a healer.
Oh.
But in the energy science world, being taught from my mentors, I've been taught that technically, as a healer or someone who assists people in healing, all we are really doing is turning people back onto themselves.
Okay.
Because everybody has, that's what everybody is doing. Like, the doctor isn't really telling you what's wrong with you, because you really have the ability to know what's wrong with you before you even go to the doctor. The doctor is just pointing it out to you in a way that is more specific than what you were feeling in general, right? So as the energy worker, my job is to teach and educate you what your vibration feels like.
Okay. So when you say energy worker, is this an actual hands-on modality that you're doing, or is it teaching them to get in touch with their selves?
Well, and that keys back to why I call myself an energy science practitioner, because there's many different modules.
Okay.
My overall goal is to be very well versed in as many of the modules as possible.
Okay.
So, for instance, I'm a yoga instructor and I'm a Reiki level 2 practitioner.
Okay.
I will be a Reiki master very soon. And within the realms of yoga, because from what we know so far, there are 8 limbs, which means there's all different types of forms of yoga.
Mm-hmm.
In this country, we really mainly talk about the asana, the physical practice. But there's meditation, there's breath work, there's mindfulness, there's all kinds of things that are interwoven in it. And so for me, what my challenge was trying to figure out, how do I describe what I do to people? Because we could do Reiki, I could do tapping, which is hands-on.
Yeah. The last month's professional was someone who does tapping.
Right. And so it depends. So for me, I also do space clearing. I do where they say, I want to create a sacred space in my home.
Okay.
Or I feel like the energy in my home is off balance. Can you come help me? So I'll go over and I'll clear their space for them, help them ground and set an intention in the space.
Mm-hmm.
So it really all depends on my client at the moment and what their intention is in what I do, in terms of whether it's hands-on or active or not.
Okay. So what brought you to the revelation about all of this? This is just fascinating to me.
Wow. What brought me? It was in a lifetime of occurrences.
Mm-hmm.
As a little girl, we were just talking before we started, like, I'm tuning in more. As a little girl, I've always been this way. I've always felt things that I know didn't belong to me.
Wow.
So,
and as a little girl, you recognized that it didn't belong to you?
Yes.
That's pretty astute.
I knew it didn't belong to me, but I didn't know what it was.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
I knew my knee wasn't hurting.
Mm-hmm.
But then we go to a family function, and then my knee's hurting so bad I could barely walk. And then one of my uncles shows up, and he's nursing his knee.
That's fascinating, because actually my sister feels me. She can feel several other people. It's not everybody, but when I'm in a whole lot of pain, she'll call me, or when I used to be in a lot of pain, she'll be like, do you have a headache today, or something hurting you? And I'm like, well, yeah, this is hurting. She's like, I can feel it.
Right.
And I remember once when I had fibroids really bad, and I was having a really, really bad episode where I was laying in the bed, just rolling around in pain. And at her home, almost 100 miles away, she called me. Well, it was a few days later, I called, and I was like, I had the most gut-wrenching pain the other day. And she's like, oh my God, it was you. And I think that was the first time we realized that she could really feel me, because her husband at the time had no idea what was going on with her. But I'm like, you felt me rolling around in pain on the bed.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, and that is what started it. However, I didn't realize it until I was about maybe 34.
Okay.
I'm a domestic violence survivor.
Okay.
And I had just moved out of the domestic violence shelter and come back down to North Carolina, and was in school and started attending a church. And they had a group, an intercessory group.
Okay.
Where they were teaching you about intercession and feeling these unseen things. And there were a lot of little statements throughout this course of time that I was going to this group every weekly, that they would say things that would trigger me to understand my childhood a lot better. Because all the way up until that point, I just knew what I felt.
Right.
I didn't have the comfort zone around me to be able to say, I don't know why I always feel this way when I'm around this person. And now this person has a heart problem. Every time I've been around them, my heart was so heavy. Like, was I supposed to say something? Am I supposed to, what am I supposed to do with
When
that?
you have that kind of information, what do you do with it?
Exactly. And so what I started doing then is really started diving deeper into my meditation practice.
Okay.
Really just going inward. Because what I've learned over the course of time is that we were given all the answers we'll ever need in this life. All we have to do is find the way to find peace with ourselves, and then our answers are already there.
Right.
So what is my purpose? Let me sit still for a minute and meditate on it, and then it'll come to the surface. What is it that, what am I supposed to do in this situation? Well, when we're able to be truly honest with ourselves, our answer comes like a snap. Now, whether we accept the answer or not,
it's a different story.
That's a different story.
That is a completely different story.
So my question was, what is my purpose? Because I've always felt like I didn't belong. I had never really found my place. I never felt comfortable. Everything that I was told I was supposed to do for comfort, it just never really mattered to me. And I was finally in a place where I couldn't go anymore without knowing. And so having these snippets of information, like growing up, I had this overcast, this sense of sadness, depression even. But I knew I was not sad. Knew I was not sad. And it turned out I learned right around that same point in time when I started meditating that my mom was depressed my entire childhood.
Wow.
So I was carrying her depression.
It's amazing, though, the amount of weight that we carry that isn't our weight to carry.
Yes. Yes. And that's the key to me really being here, because I said, okay, you know what? I don't want to carry anybody else's stuff.
It's like this life can be heavy on its own, so walking around trying to carry somebody else's stuff, like, baby, you can keep yours.
And so doing this work was my way out of that hole.
Okay.
Because it was, all my life, it has been very heavy. And I'm a happy person, but I gotten to the point where I was just, it was enough.
Okay.
And so I started doing yoga classes in the studio instead of doing it at home. I started being around more people that were doing the things that I always wanted to do. Because where I come from, it's like certain people do certain things and other people, they do other things. They still do, but like I'm a skydiving, surfing, hiking, camping.
I saw the surfboard. I was like, who is surfing?
You see, and my family is from the suburbs of Greensboro. And the backwoods of Greensboro.
Right. I'm from the backwoods, and they're actually from not too far from that area.
Okay, that's really?
That might explain a little bit why we like being outdoors.
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with being backwood. I enjoy it.
Exactly. Now, but when I'm talking about surfing and skydiving, everybody's looking at me like I'm crazy. But it's what I like to do. So just really stepping into myself fully, it helped me start to really understand where my definitive lines were and how my energy body interacted with everyone else's. And I noticed how it was intertwined. So then I was like, okay, well, if I can't totally escape it, how do I help? Because clearly I'm here to help. So how can I help?
It's amazing how many of us are living our lives according to our cultural, family, and societal norms that we don't fit in. I never felt like I fit in either. And to be a woman of my age that is hiking and will hike by herself, people don't get that. They don't understand it. But I was like, that's okay. You don't have to get it. It's like, because I'm at the place in my life now where I'm going to do the things that I enjoy and that fulfill me. Simply because I enjoy it.
And if everybody did that, this world would be such a beautiful place. That is what this lifetime is for. To feel our honest expression, to share our honest expression, to be who we were created to be.
Exactly. Because I hike, I camp, I fish, and then, you know, I'm a businesswoman, so then I put on my blazer and my skirt, and the two don't seem to go together. So when people, but they do, because it's all of me.
Yes, exactly.
So tell us, you know, this channel is specifically for people who have chronic pain or chronic illnesses, something. How can an energy worker practitioner help someone who has chronic pain?
So energy science is based in science.
Okay.
And so scientists, they're starting to, here in the last 5 years, they started publishing studies that validate meditation, that validate tapping, that validate all of the modules, even chiropractic and acupuncture, all of those things. It helps. It helps with pain reduction because our energy body is tied directly to our physical body. It's like the same thing with food. You are what you eat. Your food affects your physical body. Your thoughts create a chemical in the body.
Right.
Whether it's a positive or a beneficial chemical or a destructive chemical depends on the nature of the thought. And what a lot of people don't understand is sometimes the physical pain is a result of an imbalance in the energy body. Imbalance is kind of a harsh word. So I like to use static because I like to color with words. So there's static in the energy body. And it's my job to perceive where the static is, and if the static is something rooted in the emotional body, the intellectual body, the physical body, the spiritual body, or the energetic body. Because technically they all affect each other. So I sense the static, I help you move it, teach you how to keep it from coming back, and then it becomes a snowball effect of getting better.
Yeah. And you know, static is really a great word for it, because I can remember being in so much physical pain that I felt like I couldn't hear well and I couldn't see. And when you said static, that's what I felt.
That's what it feels like. Exactly.
That's what I felt.
Yeah.
That's like, so, you know, because I do adaptive yoga, and I have a chiropractor, I do Reiki, and I do tapping sometimes, I completely get what you're saying. And I really think that people who suffer from chronic pain, this should be part of their healing process. It's like, because it's not all just physical.
Exactly. And two, what a lot of people don't understand is just, I talk publicly about chakras because it's easier to break it down the way that it's been broken down already.
Right.
In 7 senses of the body. And so each chakra energy center, it deals with different concepts, different things. So just something simple in terms of emotional static that you have with your family, usually stored in the body.
You know, I did not learn that until a few years ago. And, you know, I've had joint issues my entire life. I was born so bow-legged I couldn't learn to walk. But it wasn't until I went to, I think it was the first time I did tapping, and he talked about how emotions get stored in the body. So then I went and got some of Louise Hay books. And she talked about how when you feel unsupported or as a child, that you often have joint issues. It's like because your foundation isn't strong. I was blown away. It's like, how is that even possible that something that's going on in your physical environment had an effect on you emotionally, but now it's manifesting itself physically?
And that's why energy science is important, because it's all energetic. We give off electrical energy. We're energetic. The ground has a vibration. The sun has, everything is energetic, and everything affects us.
Wow.
Our aura is that energy center that is the space between our physical body and everything else.
Yeah.
So how you interpret what you put into your body, what you experience, affects your energy body. And a lot of times people, and I'm making this statement, but based on what I'm researching and studying, a lot of times people who have long-term ailments it's a result from their environment and the way they perceive it, and it's rooted in their energy body.
Wow. That's just amazing.
So imagine you get a headache that's reoccurring. Out of the blue, you go get some energy work done, that headache stops.
Right.
Or you get a headache that's out of the blue, and then you just keep pushing medicine on top of it, but you don't change the train of thought, you don't change the lifestyle, and that headache keeps coming back. 12 years later, you're diagnosed with migraines and have so much medicine in your system now that you can't even tap into your regular energy, your regular vibration, even if you wanted to.
Yeah, I had a conversation with a radio host from Florida a few days ago, and she suffered with chronic pain as well, and we had a conversation about how the medication just puts you in a fog. And even after you stop using it, because after I got my knees replaced in 2015, I don't have chronic pain anymore. But my memory of all the things that happened in my 30s, I don't have a really clear recollection of that.
Yeah.
It's just static.
Exactly.
Because it was so clouded in pain pills and the actual physical pain that it felt like it was burning up some of my synapses.
and it was.
Oh,
it
wow,
was.
yeah.
Because we have frequency, every vibration has a frequency. The higher, the more intense, the lower. Now, in terms of what's better or worse, it all depends on where you are in your experience. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
However, we do things to ourselves that interfere with our frequency. Every time we vibrate on a frequency that doesn't match our natural, I like to call it the ebb and the flow. That doesn't
I use ebb and flow a lot. I like that. For some reason, I like those words.
If it doesn't match our natural flow, we're damaging ourselves.
Yeah.
We're damaging all of our bodies. You see what I mean? Holistic health is the key.
Yeah.
You can't tend to one aspect of yourself and expect it to do everything. So the energy science comes in, which I understand, it makes so much sense, how it's come to me, but the energy science part of it is the main part that most people are ignoring.
Yeah.
Or they don't even know about. Because it's the emotional part that most people are ignoring, and they don't even have an idea about the energy science part of it. Sometimes your emotions are not because of what's going on around you, but because of the static that's happening in your energy body.
Yeah. Did you guys really just understand what she just said? My mentor often tells me, it's like, you don't know what you don't know until you find out you don't know it.
Yeah, that's true.
And that is exactly what's going on when people don't recognize that they need energy work done.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Chantel, this is completely mind-blowing and so interesting to me, and just completely fascinating. And we could go on and on with this all day. But we should have some time constraints.
Yeah.
How can people reach you if they want to find out more about you, or they want to find out more about energy work?
Well, that's really easy. To have a good overview of everything that I do, they can go to my website at www.intensemovement.net. So that's www.intensemovement.net. You can also send me a direct email, and the email address is themovementisintense@gmail.com.
Okay, themovementisintense@gmail. Okay.
And I will respond. Either way, you can go on the website and go to the contact us section, which sends the email to the email address.
Right.
Or you can contact me through the email. Or you can find me on Instagram at intense_movement, or Facebook, Intense Movement. It's really, really easy.
Okay, great. Well,
Really
thank you so
easy.
much for being with us today.
No problem.
And guys, as always, I am Kimberly Dixon with Joyful Living. You can find me on Facebook at Joyful Living Life Coach. On Instagram and Twitter is at Joyful Kimberly D. Or you can just reach out to me through my email, which is coach@joyfullivingwithkimberlydixon.com. I always attend to my emails personally. So if you have questions about chronic pain or about total knee replacement, this is something that I do as my service. So if you want to reach out to me just to talk for a minute, to have someone who understands and can empathize and sympathize with where you're coming from, don't hesitate to contact me. I'm always here for you. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Chantel, did you have anything else that you wanted to share with us?
No, that's it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, thank you
And
for being here.
That the information that we talked about and we shared helped somebody that's watching.
I know it did. I know it did. And thank you so much.